Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the class. Today, we will try to understand dramatic structure and denouement. Denouement is one of the most important elements of drama. So, to understand this particular denouement, the whole structure is to be understood. Okay, first of all, we will try to understand the dramatic structure that was given by Freytag. Gustav Freytag, a German playwright and critic of drama. Okay, I would like to show you the slide. I think you can see the slide here. The dramatic structure of 5-act plays. Who gave this particular structure? Gustav Freytag. Try to remember that. According to him, the first act of 5-act play is exposition or the introduction. Okay, the second act is about the rising action. The action rises here. And the third act is mostly about the climax, the peak point. And the fourth act gradually shows the falling action. The action falls down. And the final act, that is the fifth act, is about the denouement or the conclusion or the finale. Okay, there is a kind of resolution in the final act. This is the dramatic structure, the basic dramatic structure of the 5-act plays. Okay, you can take the examples of the Shakespearean plays in this particular situation. Okay, this particular structure is known as pyramidal structure, the pyramid of Freytag. Try to remember this. Now we will try to understand all the elements one by one. The exposition in the first act. Try to understand this. In the first act, the exposition or the introduction happens. This is where the audience learns the setting of the play. That is the time of the play, the time and the place of the play, where and when the play is being happened. And characters are developed in this particular act. And a conflict is introduced here. Without a conflict, the drama or the play cannot happen. This is why this particular act introduces these particular things and it is known as the exposition. Okay, in Act 2, the rising action happens. This is where the action leads the reader or the audience to the climax. That is, gradually the action rises and it leads to the climax, to the peak point. It is the rising action. In this particular stage, it is common for complications to arise or for the protagonist to encounter obstacles. Here, during the rising action, two things are very common. One is complications to arise, and number two is protagonist to encounter obstacles. That is, different kind of bad situation will come to the protagonist or the hero, and he has to overcome these particular things. Okay, now coming to act number 3, here the climax occur. This is the pinnacle moment or turning point of the play. This is the peak point of the play. The highest kind of suspense is noticed in this climax. This is why the climax is characterized by the highest amount of suspense. Okay, all of you know this particular term, the climax. In the drama, in the movie, or in the cinema, we can notice this particular highest amount of suspense at one point, and that particular point is known as climax. Okay, now coming to act number 4. Here the falling action happens. This is completely opposite to the rising action. In the rising action, the exposition or the introduction of the problems are shown, but in the falling action, the problems are getting resolved gradually. Here the story is coming to an end. Any unknown details or plot twists are revealed or wrapped up. That is, the plot twist, unknown details, these things are gradually revealed and wrapped up. Okay, now coming to the final act, that is the act 5, where we can notice denouement. Denouement is the most important thing among all these in today's class. Okay, as we have given that in the title, uh, we have given that the denouement is important. So denouement or resolution or the conclusion. This is the final outcome of the drama. Denouement is derived from the French word denou, which means untie. Untie means completely uh, untied. Okay, loose down. Here the author's tone or the dramatist's tone about his or her subject matter is revealed. Sometimes a moral lesson is also taught in this particular final act or the denouement. I think you understood what denouement is. Denouement is the final scene of the play where everything is resolved. Okay, the the audience or the reader gets a kind of relief in this final act. Okay, so coming to the dictionary meaning of denouement, in the Oxford Languages, it is written that the final part of a play, film, or narrative in which the strands of the plot are drawn together and matters are explained or resolved is known as denouement. Okay, for example, there is a sentence here: the film's denouement was unsatisfying and ambiguous. This is a sentence where denouement word is used. Some similar words which denouement: finale, the grand finale, you know that particular term. When a kind of event is happening, the final act, sorry, but the final scene of this particular event is known as the grand finale. Okay, the other terms: epilogue. The easy terms are ending, finish, close, culmination, climax, conclusion, resolution, solution, clarification, unraveling, wind up. Okay, these are the easier terms to be remembered instead of denouement. Okay, but try to understand and try to remember the term denouement for examination point of view. Okay, the opposite words: beginning, obviously you can understand that if the denouement is the final scene, then the beginning will be the opposite. Now coming to some examples, the final scenes of almost all the Shakespearean plays can be considered as denouement, but we have taken only one drama, one play which was written by Shakespeare, and this is Romeo and Juliet. Okay, here the denouement occurs in the play when the Capulets and the Montagues see their beloved children committing suicide at the tomb. The heads of the family realize that their bitter rivalry must end. Okay, here Lord Capulet and Lord Montague agree to end their dispute to avoid further tragedy in the future. Please try to remember where I have highlighted. After seeing the suicidal scene of their children, Lord Capulet and Montague agreed to end their dispute to avoid further tragedy in the future. This is a kind of relief for the audience. The play ends with the moral lesson that we should not quarrel over. We should not get involved into a kind of dispute. Okay, so this is a kind of moral lesson for the audience, and this is a kind of relief for the audience as well. Okay, no such tragedy will occur in the future. This is a kind of relief. Yes or no? Obviously, yes. Okay, I think you have understood what are the components of tragedy or the components of drama in the five-act play that was given by Gustav Freytag. And what is denouement, most importantly? So here we can end the class now today. I think you understood everything. If not, just tell me. I shall make you understand again. Thank you for today.